What is it with Hollywood and wanting to be so hell-bent on proving they are the very definition of insanity? Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and on this episode of Dumb Shit Hollywood Says, we have David Harbour trying to one-up the stupid comments made by Idris Elba earlier in the week, and that is blaming Guillermo del Toro fans on Hellboy's failure. The April 2019 reboot that came out nearly a year ago and failed at the box office is being blamed on fans. Why? They think it works to bite the hand that's willingly pulling money out of their wallets, hard-earned money, I might add, to buy movie tickets to go see these films. Why they think attacking the customers who buy the products, I don't know. Did he not learn from Lucasfilm and Disney? I mean, he's hired by Marvel now, so maybe take a page, or at least learn from the mistakes Lucasfilm made. And maybe take to heart the saying that I said in the other video, and that is, it is best for people to think you are a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubts. But anyway, Hollywood, definition of insanity. But anyway, I'm going to go into this article and give my 2 cents on this comment. So let's dive into it, shall we? A year ago, David Harbour's Hellboy reboot memorably opened to scathing reviews and dismal box office numbers, leaving the character's big screen future in question. I, in fact, did see the movie in theaters. I bought a ticket. Willingly went up to the counter and asked for 1 ticket to see Hellboy, because I was willing to give it a chance. I very much enjoyed the first 2, the first one more than the second one, but overall I enjoyed both of them, because I appreciate Guillermo del Toro's technique. I love him as a director, as a writer. So I went in going, I have no expectations, I hope for the best. And what is it good? No. Is it horrible? I can't say, because I've repressed most of the memories of that film. There is one part in particular I do remember, and that is the moving house scene. That stuck to my mind because that was very reminiscent of Guillermo del Toro's techniques. So I liked that scene. Everything else, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what happens in the movie. I've forgotten that much. But I went to go see it. In theaters. Give it a chance. So you're telling me, a Guillermo del Toro fan, I am the cause of your movie failing. However, it wasn't long before Harbour landed a role in Marvel's Black Widow, and a new season of Stranger Things reignited the love for his Jim Harper character. He even joked about Hellboy's shortcomings while hosting Saturday Night Live last fall, but apparently Harbour has more to say about why he thinks the film tanked last spring. Via Heroic Hollywood, Harbour recently chose to spend some of his COVID-19 induced isolation by launching an Instagram live stream. When Hellboy came up, Harbour theorized that the lingering fandom surrounding Guillermo del Toro's 2 films featuring the character kept fans from enjoying this new version. Now, I will play devil's advocate here. There was a subset of fans that did not want this film to be made because they wanted a continuation of the first 2 films. They did not want to straight reboots. However, because the Golden Army was less well received than the first one, it kind of killed del Toro's chances. But anyway, that's what fans wanted. They wanted a trilogy. And that's not what they got. So, you can't entirely blame everyone. Alright, here's the quote. I think it failed before we began shooting. Basically, he's kind of like taking that small subset of fans that did not want the film to be made because they wanted a trilogy, not a reboot, and casting a wide net over the entire Guillermo del Toro fandom. Because I think that people didn't want us to make the movie, and for some reason there was like a big, I guess a pause there. Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman created this iconic thing that we thought could be reinvented, and then they certainly, the loudest of the internet was like, we do not want you to touch this. And then we made a movie that I think is fun, and I think had its problems, but it was fun, it was a fun movie, and then people were just very, very against it, and that's people's right, but I learned my lesson in a lot of different ways. Okay. Alright, again, small subset of fans who did not want this film to be made because they wanted a trilogy, not a reboot. I went to go see it because I was willing to give it a chance. I was willing to have my expectations defied because I went in with 0 expectations. Now, from my experience watching films growing up, I've seen movies from pretty much, I say every decade, actually, every decade. And from my experience watching classic films in particular, I can tell you that Hollywood has been remaking films since its infancy, just about. Ben-Hur, the movie that was panned, I think it came out last year. I did not go see it, so I couldn't say for sure how horrible it is, but it was panned by movie audiences in general, was a remake of the Charlton Heston classic, and that in turn was a remake of a 1920s film version. So Hollywood has been doing it for a long time, and I've kind of come to learn to accept that. Do I enjoy it? No, because more often than not, the remakes and reinventions and reboots turn out to be shit. But there are rare exceptions. Case in point, The Thing was a 1950s movie based on the story, and then John Carpenter made his version in the 1980s. Both are well loved. Both are well received. The John Carpenter one is essentially a remake of the film, which is a retelling of the story. The Carpenter one is a closer adaptation of the story, but both are The Thing. Another movie, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, with Steve Martin and Michael Caine. I don't know how many people know this, but it is a remake of a film called Pillow Talk. I prefer Dirty Rotten Scoundrels over Pillow Talk, a remake. So remakes can be good. They can be. But more often than not, they aren't. And there are some films, I will say, should not be touched. They are one-and-done classics, and with the identity politics and socio-political agendas permeating films now from Hollywood, I don't want those tainted. Those classics tainted. Like with the talks of rebooting the Back to the Future trilogy. I don't want that to happen. Lost Boys, I don't want that to happen, because those are films, nostalgia aside, that will be ruined with agendas that Hollywood has nowadays. So I can see why some fans did not want this film to be made, at least in that regard. And then there are those fans that did not want it to be made because, again, they wanted a trilogy. They wanted a continuation of the story told from the first two films, and we did not get that. We got a hodgepodge of ideas that Del Toro had, from what I remember, if he had continued the trilogy into a reboot, and it did not work. But anyway, let's get back into this, shall we? Harbour may have a point that several fans would have preferred a Del Toro-helmed Hellboy to a full reboot. Regardless, it seems highly unlikely that this is what caused the film's lackluster critical and financial reception. This also isn't the first time that Harbour has blamed Hellboy's failure on another more well-received comic book franchise. Last summer, Harbour suggested that Marvel's dominance over the superhero genre kept moviegoers from trying something new. No, not it. If a film is good, word of mouth will spread, and people will go see a film, regardless if it's Marvel, DC, or whatever. The fact remains, I'm sorry, it was a horrible film. Harbour, overall, was decent as the titular character, Hellboy, but that was about it. That was about it. And the one scene I mentioned earlier in this video, that's about it. But anyway, okay, surprisingly, this was after he was drafted to play Red Guardian and Black Widow, so a bit hypocritical. A bit hypocritical. Do you agree with David Harbour's comments about the Hellboy reboot? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, again. Alright, again. Yes. There might have been a subset of fans, vocal fans, that were against the film from the start and refusing to go see it. But to generalize the fandom like that, why? Why do you think it would work again after you saw what happened with what Lucasfilm did to Star Wars fans? You don't bite the hand that feeds you, and you certainly don't bite the customer's hand who's pulling money out of his or her wallet to buy your product. So, can I say this has killed his chances in Hollywood? Absolutely not. People are going to still go see films. But at the same time, people are going to remember this. Del Toro fans are going to remember this. This is out there for everyone to see. So Hollywood, please. We already think you're fools. Don't prove us every time you open your mouths. Don't prove us right every time you open your mouths. Please. But at any rate, that's my video. That's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree with them and fans were to blame, or do you think maybe he should have just kept his mouth shut, that the fans weren't to blame, that it was just a crappy film overall? If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, share it on social media if you will. This is Mara Jade, and I'll catch you all on the dark side with my next video. Take care.